Hello everybody and welcome to Metal Gear Solid 5 in a video to talk about, well, sort of to continue to talk about something that I already talked about in a video about Ghost Recon Wildlands. So I made a video a couple of days ago where I said, there is a chance, and I thought that they might downgrade it. So actually right now there is, has been shown, some gameplay of actual people playing it, so it's not like, well, I think it's not, there is always a chance, but I don't think it's fake. It is real gameplay. It shows the game, it shows the graphics and everything, and the graphics don't look as good as they show. I don't think they even look close. It doesn't look like a very good game. It's not a very bad looker either, but it doesn't look that great. And first off, it's not even about the graphics. I have to say, it looks very boring, and it didn't seem that much like Ghost Recon anymore. To me personally, I did play some Ghost Recon games, and I always thought that that you had the hurt on your suit, like it had almost no hurt, only on your suit. So that was always something that I really liked. It looked much cooler right now. I think the hurt looks pretty boring, and it just doesn't look that interesting to me. The gameplay didn't seem that interesting. It seemed just pretty boring. It seemed just like any other open world Ubisoft game, and that is probably what it's going to be. It's probably a game where you're going to spend hours and hours doing side missions. So there's going to be a lot of content, but it's going to be very repetitive, very much the same content with almost no variety. That's what I think of it. So you see that there are some weird things in the footage, like when he zoomed in, it was really fast. But it's pretty weird because, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, and I'm playing it actually to do a bit of comparison. Because to me, the games actually reminded me of each other in a lot of ways. But when you play this game, like when you zoom in, there's a bit, it does go, pretty quick. But there is, a bit of an animation, like, it feels much better than what I saw there. It seemed really weird, and it just was weird to me. Like, the gameplay, it didn't look that, it didn't look that good. The game itself didn't look that good, and for me, I'm not anymore, I'm not interested in it anymore, because for me there was nothing that gameplay showed me that really made me want to buy it, because I know that the game, still has, on 7 or 8 months, I think, to, be released. So I do understand that they can change some things, but I don't think they will change that much. I think that at least visually, I think they will keep this, and it just didn't look good. Like, there were so many things, like it didn't look very sharp in my opinion, but it didn't look that good, and that is weird because I have to say, a lot of Ubisoft games do look, pretty decent at least, and this game, it looks pretty decent. But that I mean, a lot of the games from Ubisoft, at least, they do sort of, they are not the best lookers, but they do have, a good amount of detail in it. But with this game, I just didn't see it. Like, the world looked to me very boring. It's just not interesting, and like, the game itself didn't seem that interesting because it felt less tactical to me. Like, when I started gameplay, it seemed really easy in my opinion, like just running around, easily killing everybody. It just didn't seem that difficult, and I always felt that Ghost Recon was pretty difficult. I mean, you needed, you died really quick, and that is something that I didn't really see in that gameplay. But it might be one of the most difficult games ever. I don't know. That is something that I do believe they can change. Absolutely, they can. Like, with zooming in, they can absolutely change that as well. It's not like they can't change anything, but there are things that they will not, and I think that they will not change. And I think that the visuals are one thing, because graphically, I mean, the thing is, we are getting so many great looking games.
Side op completed. Side ops list
updated. Like, there are so many really
arrived at Mother Base.
great lookers, and when I see this game, I don't think that. Like, you got games like Rise of the Tomb Raider, that is a game that to me actually looks really good.
Marker placed.
That looks, it's a beautiful game, and I mean, when I look at something like that, I can absolutely see, you know, the technical capabilities really, because that game looks good. You know, it also performs good. And when I see that, you know, I'm really happy. But when I see this, like these trailers, everything, you know, it was already weird because it didn't show like any gameplay. What, you know, in the normal trailers. So now this one, you know, they already showed that. I know you see the gameplay and it looks boring, and that is what they wanted, you know. They tried to trick you at that, because for me it seemed boring. Like it didn't seem interesting at all. And it just
extraction arrived at mother base.
It doesn't make me wanna, you know, I don't really want to buy the game anymore, let's just say that. It's not that I'm was that interested originally to actually buy it, because it's a Ubisoft game. Like these things are the same things. What you have to expect from a game like this is those are collectibles. That is one thing that I have to say. Tons of collectibles, probably, you know, a few DLCs are going to add, you know, new weapons and everything later on. You know, that is something that you're probably, you know, going to have. Like, you're going to have that, you're going to have, you know, collectibles, very similar missions, you know, with not a lot of variety in them. So, you know, I think they're going to try to, you know, keep it interesting. But I do not think that they will do, you know, enough to make it a very interesting game. I just don't think that they will, because they seem to not really know how to do that anymore. Like these games are all, you know, inspired by each other and so much. Like it's called Ghost Recon, but to me it doesn't seem like a Ghost Recon game. It seems like Far Cry, you know, or something like that. It's the same with, say, the Division. I mean, the Division, like, has like the name of Tom Clancy in it, but it doesn't seem like a game like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem like a game where, you know, that makes a lot of sense, because it doesn't. I mean, they put his name on it, but there's nothing really that really sort of justifies that, in my opinion. Like that is something that I do really miss about these games, because you expect so much from it, but then you don't get it. Like I thought that, you know, it was going to have a visual downgrade, because I just expected that. I mean, it has been happening with so many Ubisoft games lately, and this one is another one. And I think that this one, you know, I think if you really like the Ghost Recon games, I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the series, because I've not played, you know, all of them, but when I see this, I just don't see interesting, and I don't know why it is an open world game. And that's why I was playing Metal Gear Solid. So I've lately been playing it, you know, a bit more, because I haven't really been playing it, but I'm finishing up some side missions and getting some S ranks in some missions. And I bought some skins. I actually kinda like the skins. They were very cheap, like 250 I think for all of them. And if you compare it to this, like the Metal Gear, you know, Metal Gear Solid 5, it's gone, you know, open world, and it's pretty weird for the Metal Gear franchise, because I didn't really expect it. But in this game, I think for the story, it is not a very good thing, but I think it still could have had a good story. And the gameplay, you know, it's pretty repetitive. I have to say that, so it is, you know, pretty repetitive game, if you ask me. And it is still, you know, it is a fun game, and I think it is really cool that it's open world, because you can say, you know, it's the best open world stealth game I've myself played. I mean, there is so many choices and so many small details. I mean, it is a very enjoyable game. I do not think it's the best game ever, but it is an enjoyable game. So less or so. I think the first couple of missions, or well, there are, you know, a couple of missions that are really enjoyable, and have, you know, a bit of story and, you know, some pretty cool moments. But for, you know, the whole game, there are some story things what I think they could have, you know, done better. But this game, you know, this has that, and what I see with Ghost Recon, I see a very similar game to this game. I see it similar to Far Cry, but in terms of like, you know, this world in this game, it is a pretty bland world, I have to say. I mean, you know, I think Africa is a better place you know, it is a more enjoyable place, but you get really bored really quickly in this world, because I feel that there's just, when you're driving around, there's not a lot to do. Like, yeah, there are these little outposts that you can, you know, they come back every time, that you can, you know, kill a few enemies, but there's nothing really more into it. And that is something that you notice, and in Ghost Recon I noticed as well. Like, it seemed, you know, boring, because you see these very little, you know, amount of things, you know, happening. Yeah, they're going to be, you know, probably a few outposts, you know, a few things to do there, but it's not like a packed world, you know. They don't go for like a massive city, like it's called Wildlands, so you know, you got this sort of wild sort of space, you know.
Complete.
And to me, you know, it was pretty disappointing. Like, I expected it, but I just find it sad that, you know, it's happening again. I mean, it is a bit less, you know, it's not as bad, you know, as say The Division, you know, where they actually say it's real gameplay, you know. In here, you know, you could expect it, you know, from the trailers, but it's just stupid, I think, if you ask me, that they you know, do this. I mean, I think visually it does look pretty dated, and you know, that is something important, because graphics, you know, they are absolutely not the most important thing, but you do expect a bit of, you know, good graphics from games. Absolutely. And you know, in this sort of generation, like, graphics, you know, they are very important to a lot of people, and when you do not have a great graphics, you know, you are going to sort of miss something. And that is what I really noticed, because visually it just doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look appealing. Like, that is, I think, the thing you can, you know, make a very good game, like with graphics, you know, with great effects and everything, you know, but you can also make one where you just have a very good artistic style. And when you have that, you know, you can also get, because it can also help you, because it means while your game is not the best looking game, because of the art style, it looks, you know, great. That's something that you can do. But here, you know, they get this style that is, you know, it's done before by everybody, because most games these days look like that. And they just do that, and there's nothing more to it, you know. They have these visuals, but nothing really to sort of back it up, you know, in terms of style or anything. And I you know, I still would like it if the gameplay was more fun, because it just doesn't seem fun. It seems like something we've done, you know, 100 years ago already. Like, we've done it, or 100 times already. I don't mean 100 years ago. Like, we've done it, you know, multiple times. This is not the first time we've done it. And that is something that I do not like, because that's not how I think it needs to be. I mean, if they put some effort into it, you know, maybe release it, you know, even sort of more, give it more time, because right now, you know, it doesn't seem like I'm going to be that interested in it at the moment. But it is absolutely possible that you know, it is absolutely possible that you will enjoy the game. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, you know, we will see it when it, you know, when it drops, when it gets released, or, you know, more gameplay footage shows up, like maybe, you know, 5 months later, and, you know, it's the final product, and maybe, you know, they see it, that it isn't that, you know, that it isn't that interesting. And I know that some people will probably be like, yeah, to me it seems interesting, you know. That's fine. If it's interesting for you, you know, buy it, do whatever you want. I don't really care, but to me it just doesn't, and it doesn't seem like, it just doesn't seem interesting to me. And it seems like just very average game. What I will have to say about the visuals, the detail, you know, on like the iron sights, that seems pretty good to me. But for the rest, I didn't really like the characters, you know, they look decent. The voice acting wasn't that good actually. It sounded weird, but I think that it's something that I think they're going to make better. That is something that I do not believe they release in that state. I hope at least, but you know, you never know at that moment. But I do, you know, hope that they will, you know, fix something, maybe make, you know, the game better. And if that happens, you know, that would be so cool, because it is interesting, like, because you know, you can also use stealth, but it's also, you know, always a bit tactical, and it doesn't seem that way right now. But that maybe, you know, they were also like, I think level 25 or so. So maybe that just happens when you are in a late game level. I don't know.
Extraction
Like at least in Far Cry, you know, it happens like in the beginning. You know, it's pretty difficult. You die quick. You don't have the best weapons, and then when you know, you play a couple of hours, you know, doing some side missions, you get so strong, you basically get overpowered really. And you know, there's a possibility that happens, you know, that they didn't want them to die over and over again. I don't know. But well, it was my video, and I'm just, you know, in one way I'm sad that, you know, what I said was the truth really, but also not, because you know, while I expected it, I didn't expect it to come out so quick after I made a video that I was going to get downgraded. Thank you for watching, and I see you next time.